real quick, basic Excel use is to bring in data, transform it into usable data. So you can have good data is brought in, or bad data, you turn it into good data, turn it into a report, turn it into something useful. Um, you can have as much data as you want. Doesn't matter if it's not useful. So with that, basics of Excel, workbook and worksheet. So every time you open up a new Excel, it's called a workbook. Worksheet are these tabs. Each one is a sheet. And then basic layout is you have a formula bar. It's right here, and you have the ribbon, and that's all of this stuff. All right, cell location, it's going to be right here, A5 we're in right now. Click right here, we're in F3, so it tells you the location. That's something might have been overlooked. So to do a formula or enter a function, there's three ways. So one is directly with an equal sign. So you want to do sum. See, sum gets brought up. Then you select the numbers. With there, if you want to select two different spots, you just hold Control, and you can select as many as you want. You hit Enter, and it would sum it. So another way to do a formula is in the formula bar directly. Of course, you do the same thing right here. Sum, choose your cells. Then there's also this formula button. That is right here, insert function. This will bring up a lot of, this will bring up all of them. So you can see Excel has a ton of different ones. This goes into calculus, all that kind of stuff. Then you also have, let me see, most recently, average. There's a lot of different ones. So a lot of common formulas, average, max, bring out the max number in a selection, minimum, the lowest number. There's a lot of them. I'll go into that maybe later. So I wanted to explain the ribbon. So that's all up here, all these. One thing I was showing with hotkeys was how you can do things like shift space or control A, select all. You can navigate the ribbon with the use of the Alt key. So you press Alt, you'll notice that these letters appear. So you want to go to File, press F. So you want to go to Options, T. So that's just another way to, speed up the process of going back and forth from the mouse. All right. So I want to take some time and go through all of these. Home. This is where probably the most common things that you use are. So you copy, paste, text, bold, all that stuff. Border. So you put a border on things. If you want to expand that a little further, got all this. This is the alignment issues. So if you want center, left, right, increase indent. Go to alignment. One cool thing here is that you can change the text orientation. So if you want to go up and down, for some reason, I don't know, that's an option. All right, $, you can change the currency. It's not too applicable to us, but this is a good one. If you want decimal points on this, right here. But you can also do that with just going into number formatting. If you have large numbers, the comma for the thousand separator is, useful. Do percentages, a bunch of other stuff. Conditional formatting, that's something I really want to go over. I got that coming up down here, so we'll get to that today. Format as a table, that's a good one. If you like tables, I went over that a little bit last time. Insert, if you want to insert a row or a column. Delete, same thing. Delete a row or column or a cell. When you delete a cell, you get the option whether you would want all of this data to move left or all of this to move up, so for something to come in there. If you just want to delete a cell and not move it, you just hit the delete key. Editing, this is where you find the find and replace. The auto sum, that's if you have some selected data that you want to go over. So it's pretty much the home. Yeah, a lot of more stuff you go to, often. So insert, so where you would select data right here to a table. Let's see here. For illustrations, I think icons is a pretty good one. So you can put all these in. These are going to be floating pictures. So they're not going to go directly into the cell. That's kind of cool if you need to, illustrate something. Let's see. So charts, if you want to include a pie chart or line chart, you go here, you select the data, and it'll pop that up. I don't really want to get into that. Spark lines, that's something a little more advanced.
You do have a question, Adam. Jesse wants to know, what is the Alt key combination for format as a table?
Well, that was Alt T. So yeah, I got some. Or it was Control T actually. But that's the shortcut, the hotkey Control T. Now, if you want to navigate the ribbon to that, let's see, Alt N T. So there's always different ways of getting to where you need to go with Excel. But yeah, Control T was the quick one. Control T. All right, so to continue with insert, what else do we got? Insert comment or link. That's the hyperlink. I think I wasn't able to get in on the Word presentation, but I think he went over Control K. I found that very useful. I never used that before, but I'm finding it a lot more useful now. So Control K, and then you just type in the link right here that you want it to link to. Comment, so that will put a comment in the cell. So you want to say bad number. Now it'll be indicated by that, and every time you hover over it, it'll show that I made a comment on it. You can also reply to these. So if you're doing if you're working on a spreadsheet with a team, and somebody puts their comments, and then another person wants to respond to it, you can come in. Now you have a string of the people's whatever on it, notes. Let's see, equation, symbol might be good. This will go directly into the cell. Like if you want a copyright symbol, we'll see it goes right there. Just delete that. So it's pretty much insert. Page layout, a lot of these can be done on the print screen, like margins, orientation, portrait landscape. Print titles, this is one where if you have kind of like consecutive data that goes over pages, and you want the same, say it is the same header or same first row, and you want it to print on every page. You come in here, select that, and then now when you print, it's going to show up on the top of every single page. So that can be useful. Gridlines. So it's always a good idea when you're making a report that you're going to print to take a look at it, how it will look, if you're not printing with grid lines. So we'll leave those on. All right, move on to formulas. This kind of just goes a little more in depth on, or a little, kind of shortcut to what this is. Probably won't use a lot of these. Some of them are, some of the more basic ones are under auto sum. So you got average, count. It's like, say you wanted, to see how many times or how many instances were in this, you'd use count. And it would tell you, 1, 2, 3, 13 or whatever. Max will bring out largest minimum, or the smallest. Average, you might find yourself using that a lot. So, and it's just algebra, putting things together. I'll move on from there. Trace precedents, trace dependence is a pretty useful tool. That'd be something that maybe auditors would use a lot when you want to see how a formula arrived at its answer, when it was based off of maybe different calculations in different sheets or something. So if you come here, let's see trace dependence. So that, all right, we'll do trace precedence. So this formula is taking these 5 numbers and adding them together. So it gives you just a visualization of what the formula, where it's from, where it goes. Error checking, you probably won't run into instances where you actually need that. Show formulas, that's kind of a good one if you want to see it instead of having to click here and look up here. So data, this you probably won't use too much. A lot of it you need to establish a connection. So maybe, I've been thinking about it, like we get data from Salesforce, maybe we might be able to establish a connection and have it pulled directly from there and come directly into a table. So that's something a little higher end. Under the data ribbon or whatever, sort is probably one that you'll use, frequently. Want to sort by, say, settlement date. Just column A, oldest, newest. I'll do that. Filter, that's going to put you need headers on it. So let me do that real quick. Yeah, with all tables, you just need continuous data. So when I do filter, give me the option to, I guess this is a bad example to use that. So we'll skip that right there. Text column, I think I showed that last time. Group, ungroup, that's if, say I had numerous ones of these and it was continuing. Say this was 2016, 2017, and I had 2018. And I wanted to group them and just show the total. Then I would do something like that. Group. So it would show like that, but then it would give me the option to expand it. So it's a good way to kind of just increase maybe the usability. try not to clutter everything. So try and ungroup everything. That didn't work. All right, so for review, it's probably best for just spell check. It's good for comments also. So this is where you would add a comment. Show comments. That'll bring this up over here. All of the ones in here. Let's just say if there's another one. Comment. So click it. It'll bring you to where those are. Protect sheet, protect workbook. That's if you don't want anybody editing what you send or what you have, maybe stored on a shared drive. View. This is another good way to see what your printing looks like. So when I go here, check page layout, you can see this obviously not something I would print without formatting in a different way. So it's a good thing to look at before you do try and make while you're trying to make a report. Another cool thing is this new window. So what this does is it'll bring up another window, and it'll allow you to edit both at the same time. So let's try it. All right, so it opened up the exact same one. And what I type here is going to show on both of them. So now this is cool when you have a very large workbook. Say I had something I wanted to look at here and then do here. So now I would have that option. And when I exit this one, it's just automatically there. So that's an awesome feature. Help is pretty much useless in Excel. I'd recommend just Google. So that's pretty much the ribbon.
You do have a question, Adam. Can you save so that you can expand the group data is the question.
Save so you can expand the group data. I'm not sure what that means. I'm sorry. Can you?
When you grouped that data and then you were able to collapse it so that it was neat and clean,
Right.
Can you save it so that when you open it the next time you can expand it and keep it clean? Can you go back and forth?
Yeah, absolutely.
Once it's saved?
Yeah. So it'll save like this.
And then if I were to send that data to Bill, could he open it that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
He'd be able to see that this is right here, and then go like that. And then if he didn't like, that being there, you just ungroup. And group, and it gets rid of it. But yeah, it'll save like that. So. All right, so that's pretty much the ribbon. Let's go to options. So I guess going back to the Alt key, it's a good thing to kind of start using, just because the mouse takes away time. So Alt F, options down here. So there's a lot of stuff you can change in here. Obviously, you don't want to change things that have effects that you don't fully understand. So I looked through it. I found a couple things that you might find useful. The font size, if you like a specific font, you can change that. Include this many sheets. So that's when you open it up. will it have one sheet like it always does, or will it have two? I always recommend one, or I would recommend one sheet, just because you don't want an empty sheet really ever to be in a workbook that you send. Just that's not, keep your stuff clean. Username. So this is what's going to appear in your metadata, or when you look at the properties of the file, it's going to say author, and this is the title that's going to show up. This will also show up in your notes. So maybe I want to change that. Adam Montgomery. Office background. So this is going to change right up here. Change it to calligraphy. Yeah, so it added a little. You can get fashionable with it. So that's pretty much for general formulas. You'll sometimes run into a spreadsheet that's been sent to you where they have workbook calculation sent to manual. When that happens, it won't automatically calculate a formula. It'll make you click a button. So let's see here. I'll show you. So if you have equals 1 plus 1. All right. Now, if I were to change that to 4, this should have changed because this is this cell plus 1, so this should be 5. What it would force you to do is come down here and click that. So if you ever run into that problem, that's where that is. So you want to make sure that's always on automatic. Let's see here, R1C1. So that's changing how cells are referenced. So this would be like A1, B1. You probably won't use that. Date, nothing. Proofing. So right now it's set to ignore words in uppercase. And that's probably, I don't know if you, it's up to you whether you like that. So when it does spell check, it won't spell check uppercase words. Right now it's not doing words that contain numbers. That's not necessarily, these aren't necessarily bad things. So moving on, autosave. So it's a pretty good feature, especially if you lose power or, restart your computer without saving something. So it's auto recovers right now set to 10 minutes. I'd probably change it to like 5, just to make sure that it's always up to date. You can change the location of where it's saving, default location, language. So advanced. One of the things I found useful in here, if you don't like, is after pressing enter, move direction. So now if you remember this feature and you have a task that's like entering 100 different items to the right, maybe you can change it to the right. But for me, I'll probably unselect it because after I enter a formula, I want to stay at that cell. So automatically insert a decimal point. Once again, if you find yourself using decimal points a lot, that'd be a good one. So customize ribbon, that's customizing all the stuff up here. So I'll probably get rid of it, help, but you can go through that if you want. Quick access toolbar, so it's going to be up here. You can add or remove things. Probably add spell check. that's pretty much it for this. So we got a spell check up there. Perfect. All right, so that's kind of the layout of Excel. Went into what some of the features are of it. One thing I want to talk about is conditional formatting. So it's gonna give you the ability to select or to format all cells that are a particular way. So let's say I want to know every cell that's $20. We're going to come to Home, Conditional Formatting, go to Highlight Cell Rules. Then we have all these different options. So you can do highlight every cell greater than 10, less than 5, between, equal to, text that contains. So we'll try equal to. We'll shoot for -20. -20. Choose the option we want. Custom it. So we just want it yellow. And now you see that it highlights every cell that's -20. So try that again. We'll do it with the whole thing right here. Conditional formatting. Hide cells equal to -10. Light red with dark red text, so you can see it shows all of them like that. So it's going to be really useful if you just want to establish, a continuous formatting instead of having to go through and highlight every cell, and then have to go that way. So check figure, that's the next thing I wanted to bring up. So when you have a table like this, let's get rid of this one. You have a table like this, let's say you know this answer, or this total right here should be 70,623.75. So you can do trying to think of how to show you this without going into something else. So do a plus, minus, so 0. You want the answer to be 0 all the time. But that's a good thing to put in there. That kind of leads me on to my next thing, an if statement. So an if statement, let's bring it up and see what it says. It checks whether a condition is met. It returns one value if it's true and another if it's false. So to do one real quick, just to show you. All right. So what it does is it gives you two options or two outputs on a condition. So let's say we want to know, we want this here to say something, or sorry, I should have thought a better way of explaining this. So if this doesn't equal, we want this to show that there's an error. So we'd use this if statement. And we'd say if it equals 0, we don't want to show anything. And that, on the opposite side, if it equals anything but 0, we want it to show error. So let's say this information got changed up here. This turn equals something else. So now it'll show up as error. If we realize that change happened, it won't show anything. So format of it. A logical test, value of true, value of false. If, parenthesis, logical test. I usually just use it for equals. So let's say, but for this instance, let's try greater than 0 equals if this is greater than 0, then to type text, use a quotation mark. So if it's greater than 0, want it to say good. And if it's not greater than 0, want to say bad. So fill that down. Now we have a simple way to explain, I guess, the results, or take a numerical result, turn it into a text. So does anybody have any questions on that? Is there any way I can explain that better? I'd appreciate some feedback on that.
I think you explained it well. I totally understood it, and I've never knew that I could do that. So I appreciate the knowledge.
Absolutely. So yeah, that if statement, that's brings up the basis for, or it just increases your ability to use a spreadsheet. Well, that was all I had for the basics. I guess if you guys want to go into making a chart, maybe that might be a good idea. Or let me think.
We have a question here. Are these if statements applicable for the whole workbook?
Absolutely. I mean, you can use it in any context. Well, that brings up a good point. So let me explain what happens when you copy and paste a different formula. So you can see that we're still referencing cell right here to the left. This one is still referencing the cell right here to the left. But if you were to put this right here, oh, it's not supposed to do that. So if you take this and paste it right there, okay, that's a weird way to put it. Are you able to use it anywhere? Yes, you are. I mean, you can use it in any instance, as long as you get the logical test correct. You can put whatever you want in here. Say instead we wanted it to put bad, maybe we wanted to put 100. So do it that way. I think logical tests. I'm trying to think of another good instance for it. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's definitely something good to play around with. Yeah, so I don't know. Go on from there. Well, I guess show you guys how to make a simple graph or pie chart. Say I'm sorry, Rich. I finished a little sooner than I thought I would have.
No, you're fine. No, that's fine. And I would appreciate you showing the charts and graphs, because I've tried to use that before, and I'm not always successful with that. So if there's any pointers you can show on that, there was actually a report I was working on earlier this week that I really could have used that.
Okay. Well, let me think. So I guess, well, this might not be a good set of data for it. Let's simplify it. Let's just do, see, so we're going to want the results. Let's get rid of the formulas. Always do pays value. So that'll get rid of those. Let's just do that by reference number. Maybe this will make it easier. Well, I guess it's mainly about I don't know, the data that you select, and that's included in it. So going with tables, it's all just you know, a clear understanding of what you want put into it and how you want it represented. Because it's pretty easy to make it, like I just, you know, showed. This probably isn't the best way to display it, but let me think. Actually, it brings me up to some of the points that I had that I just skipped over in the beginning about spreadsheet setup. So, Rich, I'm sorry I'm skipping graphs, but
It's okay. Go ahead.
all right. So things I wanted to go over on spreadsheets is that the most important thing is layout and structure. So with that, clean format, you know, avoid 65 different colors. A lot of times, you know, instead of having a cell filled in with black to represent empty, maybe just a 0 is fine. You want it easy to follow and understand. So that kind of goes with, you know, maybe, you know, just remembering people read left to right, or, you know, which way do you want your dates to go? Do you want to go 2018, 2017, 2016, or do you want to start in, you know, 1924 and then go forward, so they have to scroll all the way to the right, see the end of their data? So you want it to be easy to audit and replicate. or you want it to be easy to audit, in the idea that somebody else can replicate your worksheet and figure out how you got your answer. So that's one of the big things there, is just making sure that you're not taking 12 steps when you only need to take 2, and you're pulling data from obvious positions or obvious spots, and that kind of goes with the dynamic, and the changes flow through the spreadsheet. So if you have a total here, you want to flow to say maybe this to this, not from here down here to up here. So it's the idea behind having a dynamic spreadsheet, detailed, just the right amount, don't overcomplicate. That was, it might be good to have it as history, and to be able to show where you got the data. But when you're sending it to somebody, these guys don't need to know, maybe my reference number. They, don't need to know what my commissions were, but they need to know this. So it's a give and take, aiming for just the right amount. Accurate, precision. So that's with maybe having a check figure like I had, 70, and then throwing in an if statement. If this equals this, comma, if it equals it, value of true. Good to go. Doesn't equal it. Error. So there's another use for, or another way to use an if statement, another way to keep your data accurate. And then you want your spreadsheet, you want it to have the ability for you and yourself to make changes to it. So I see that a lot with years. Like if we need to add a year, let's say, I don't know, you have data here, and here, and you're trying to add a column. I don't know. It's just something to keep in mind. So that's pretty much all I got, Rich, unless you got some questions.
No, we don't have any questions, and he definitely covered a lot of information, and I picked up some stuff yet again on this presentation that I wasn't aware of, so I appreciate that. Anyone else have any other questions before we end this? All right. Well, if you do have questions, reach out to Adam directly. I'm sure he'll be happy to help you out. I know that some of the stuff he shared today I could have used for my Avante report earlier this week. So, but I know now. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.